Namaskar. Today we discuss the unit Jainism Shadbana. This unit introduces to you the theory of Shadbana in Jainism. But before we go into the concept of Shadbana, we have to discuss the concept of epistemology and metaphysics. Zoino epistemology and metaphysics are dealt with the Zoino concept of Shadbana. Therefore, this unit informs the Zoino epistemology and metaphysics. Like other Indian systems, Zoino systems also deals with the sources of knowledge. Zoino epistemology talks of the three sources of knowledge: perception, inference, and testimony. Apart from this, it holds that it is not possible for ordinary people to know all the qualities of a thing. It indicates that people can know only some qualities. That is why people can gain relative knowledge. This relative knowledge of a thing is called Sadvana. So Sadvana is the relativity theory of knowledge. On the other hand, the Joido metaphysics is realistic and relativistic realism. Joido holds that reality consists of the manyness of reality. Therefore, the Joido metaphysics is known as Anekantovada. So metaphysics and epistemology are the two aspects of the same teaching in Joido system. The origin of the Joido faith can be traced out in the prehistoric time. The Joido system believes in 2040 Thankaras, or the liberated propagators of the faith. Mahavira, the last Tirthankara, is not regarded as the founder of the system because even before him, Jaina teachings were existed. Although Mahavira is not regarded as the founder of the system, still his teachings gave a new outlook to Jaina system. Mahavira, who is also known as Vargamana, was contemporary to Gautama Buddha. Now we'll discuss the concept of Zoido epistemology. Zoidos admit three sources of knowledge. They are respectively perception, inference, and testimony. The Zoido shows that inference produces valid knowledge when it obeys the logical rules of correctness. Like inference, testimony also produces valid knowledge when it is the report of a reliable authority. From these sources of knowledge, it can be held that Zoinos admit two kinds of knowledge. They are immediate and mediate, or direct and indirect, according to Zoido system. Knowledge is again divided into two kinds. First one is pramana. It means knowledge of a thing as it is. The second one is naya. It means the knowledge of a thing in its relation. Naya means a state point of thought about a thing. Naya, as a pramana, holds that we can get partial knowledge of a thing. So, partial knowledge of different aspects of a thing is called Naya. It is not at all possible to gain complete knowledge of a thing. Therefore, according to Joyno, truth is relative to our different standpoints of thought about a thing. The Joyno system holds that there are seven noyos. The first four noyos are called orthonoyo because they relate to objects or meanings. The last three are called Shabdanoyo because they relate to words. Noyo involves a fallacy. When we take it as absolute, this fallacy in Noyo is called Noyo Bhasa. Now we discuss very briefly Joyno's concept of metaphysics. The Joyno metaphysics holds that reality possesses innumerable qualities. So an object possesses infinite number of characteristics of its own. Therefore, it is not possible for ordinary people to comprehend all the qualities of it. People can know only some qualities. Therefore, the Zoido metaphysics is relativistic realism. It is also called Rekantavada in the sense that an object or a thing includes infinite number of characteristics. Ordinary people cannot cover all the aspects of a thing, so different standpoints or statements of a thing is called Anekantavada. Again, Joino metaphysics is relativistic in the sense that no statement or a standpoint of a thing can claim to be absolute. Therefore, all truths are relative in comparison to others. Every standpoints or statements are partially true. So the Joino metaphysics is called Anakantomano or manyness of reality. Now we discuss the very important concept of Joino philosophy, that is Syanvada or the Saptavangi Nine. Syanvada is the theory of relativity of knowledge. It is also called Saptavangi Nine or the sevenfold judgment. The word Syat literally means maybe, probable, perhaps. Therefore, it is also known as the probability theory of knowledge. Zoidism, through the theory of Syadvada, holds that reality has infinite number of characteristics. People cannot know all the characteristics of a thing. Therefore, human knowledge regarding the absolute nature of a thing is probable. People can get partial knowledge of a thing. This indicates that Jainism advocates the probability theory of knowledge. But it does not mean that Jainism leads to skepticism or the impossibility of knowledge. Reality has infinite characteristics. It is not possible to bring out the complete nature of reality from one standpoint or angle. Therefore, all judgments are relative or conditional in relation to other judgments from different standpoints or perspectives. We can take an example here to describe the nature of relativity or probability theory of knowledge. When we say this mountain exists, we do not mean that this mountain exists absolutely or unconditionally. Here, human knowledge of the mountain is necessarily relative because we think that the mountain exists in a particular shape, length, breadth, height, and also in a definite time and space. But the mountain does not exist in another form. matter, and all other space and time. It is clear that we can make a judgment that the mountain exists from one standpoint and also make a judgment that the mountain does not exist from another standpoint. Therefore, Joyner says that judgments are relative or conditional. The theory of Syadvada holds that all judgments are conditional, relative, and limited. No judgment can be absolutely wrong or true. This indicates that judgments are partially true or partially false. It means that all affirmative judgments presuppose negations as well as all negative judgments presuppose affirmation. Affirmation and negation are the two edges of a judgment. In case of explaining the nature of Sadhuvada, Joiners put forward a story of the 6 blind men and an elephant. The blind men put their hands on the different parts of the elephants in order to describe the whole animal. The first blind man who touched the ear of the elephant opined that the elephant was like a country-made hand. The second blind man who caught the leg of the elephant viewed that the elephant was like a pillar. The third blind man who touched the trunk of the elephant said that the elephant was like a python. The fourth blind man who caught the tail of the elephant viewed that elephant was like a rope. The fifth one who touched the side said the elephant was like a wall. The last one who touched the forehead opined that the elephant was like the breast. From the story of the 6 blind men and an elephant, it is derived that each blind man thought that his explanation regarding the elephant was correct. But he who can see the animal can view that each explanation regarding the elephant was partially correct. Therefore, the Sadhvada theory of the Joinos shows that our judgments or standpoints bring out the different aspects of reality. Our judgments express only partial truth. No judgments are absolutely true. The word sad should be incorporated to all judgments to point out the conditional character of judgments. There are 7 different ways of expressing judgments by the word sad. These 7 different ways are known as Sadvada or Saptabhanginaya. These are as follows. First one, Sad Asti. Relatively, a thing is real. It can be symbolically expressed as perhaps as is. The next one, Sadnasti. Relatively, a thing is unreal. It can be symbolically expressed as perhaps as is not. The next one, Sad Asti Nasti. Relatively, a thing is both real and unreal. Symbolically expresses perhaps as is not. Next one, Syad Advaktambam. Relatively, a thing is indescribable. Symbolically expresses perhaps as is indescribable. Next one, Syad Asti Sa Advaktambam. Relatively, a thing is real and is indescribable. Symbolically expresses perhaps as is and indescribable. Next one, Sadnastisa Advaktambam. Relatively, A thing is unreal and is indescribable, symbolically expressed as perhaps as is not and indescribable. The last one, that is seventh one, Sada Astisa Nastisa Advocatum. Relatively, a thing is real, unreal, and indescribable. Symbolically expressed as perhaps as is not, and indescribable. Now we can explain the sevenfold judgment of Sadhvada. Sad Asti. This is an affirmative judgment. From the point of its own substance, place, time, and nature, a thing exists. The pot exists as an earthen substance, possessing red color in summer at Guwahati. Next one, Sadhanasti, perhaps as is not. This is a negative judgment. From the point of view of substance, place, time, and nature, a thing does not exist as other things. The pot does not exist as watery substance, possessing dark color in spring at Nogam. Sadhanasti, perhaps as is not. The third one, the, the third is an affirmative and negative judgment in succession. The pot exists as its own substance in its own place at a particular time with its own nature. It does not exist as substance in another place at another time with another quality. Next one, Shada Abhaktagvam, perhaps as is indescribable. This simultaneously both affirmative judgment and negative judgment. The present nature of the pot as an earthen substance with its red color and absence of its watery substance with dark color inhere in a substance. But it cannot be expressed. But in another sense, it cannot be absolutely indescribable. Like the concept of Maya or Monoito Vedanta, it includes both the thesis and the antithesis at the same time. Next one, Sada Asti Sa Abhaktagvam, perhaps as is and indescribable. This is an affirmative judgment combined with simultaneous affirmative judgment and negative judgment. This indicates that when a predicate is a form of a thing with reference to its substance, place, time, and nature, and the predicate is a form of it as described above, and denied of other things as different substances in other places and times and with different natures simultaneously. Hence we get affirmation and indescribability. Next one is sadhanastisa abhaktagvam, perhaps as is and as is not and indescribable. This is a negative judgment combined with simultaneous affirmative and negative judgment. It shows that when a predicate is denied of other substances in different places of at other times and with different natures, and a predicate is simultaneously a form of the thing and denied of other things. Hence we get negation and indescribability. The next one is Sada Astisa Nastisa Bhaktagvam, perhaps as is not, and indescribable. This successive affirmative judgment and negative judgment combined with simultaneous affirmative and negative judgment. It indicates that when a predicate is affirmed of a thing as its own substances, in its own place, at its own time, and with own nature, and the same predicate is denied of other substances, in other places, at other times, and with other natures. So affirmation and denial are made simultaneously. Here we get affirmation, negation, and indescribability. From these sevenfold judgments, it is clear that an affirmative judgment holds that a thing exists in its own substance, its own place, its own time, and with its own nature. On the other hand, a negative judgment holds that a thing is non-existent in its other substances, other places, other times, and with other natures. The five other judgments are the combinations of affirmative and negative judgment. Affirmation implies negation, and negation implies affirmation. It shows that a thing is existent with its own nature and non-existent with other natures. Therefore, it is clear that Zeno's concept of Syadvada advocates relative realism or a many-sided of reality. Although Syadvada seems to be the correct view of Syadvada, still it is creates some confusing states in mind, some of which are really subject of discussion critically. Now, we discuss a critical point of Syadvada theory, that is criticism of Syadvada. According to Buddhists and Vedantins, the word Syad in the theory of Syadvada involves a problem. They hold that Syadvada is a self-contradictory doctrine. It asserts that the contradictory attributes like existence and non-existence belong to the same thing in the same context. Against this self-contradictory doctrine, it can be held that light and darkness cannot be present in the same thing at the same time. In this context, Dharmakriti points out that Jainas make a contradictory statements like a man. Shankaracharya views that unity and reality, existence and non-existence, momentariness and permanence, affirmation and negation, lightness and darkness cannot remain in the same thing at the same time. Similarly, Ramanuja holds that we cannot combine contradictory attributes like existence and non-existence, unity and reality, momentary and permanence, lightness and darkness in the same thing at the same time. The relativity theory of knowledge or Syadvada holds that all judgments are relative or conditional. Every affirmative judgment presupposes negation, and every negative judgment presupposes affirmation. All truth is partially true or partially false. In this context, it can be held that if truth is partially true or partially false, the theory of Sadvada will be probable or partially true or partially false. But the Zoinos by the theory of Sadvada do not mean the theory of probability. Shankaracharya holds that relativity of judgment presupposes an absolute. Relativity of judgment cannot sustain without an absolute, in which all judgments fall and through which they are manifested. Now we discuss the very important points of the unit, the Syadvada theory, or we can say the summary of this unit. Zoino admits perception, inference, and testimony and the sources of knowledge. Joyner divides knowledge into two kinds, pramana and naya. Naya means knowledge of a thing in its relation. Pramana means knowledge of a thing as such or as it is. Joyner metaphysics holds that all judgments are relative. From the epistemological standpoint, knowledge is relative in the sense that we can know only partial nature of reality. It is called Sadvada. From the metaphysical standpoint, reality has innumerable characteristics. It is called Anekantavada. Sadvada is the theory of relativity of knowledge. It is also called Saptabhanginaya or sevenfold judgment. Now, to understand the unit in a very comprehensive way, some books can be given. And that book are basically S.C. Chatterjee's and D.M. Datta's book, Introduction to Indian Philosophy. The second one is Hiriana's book, Outlines of Indian Philosophy. Third one is Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan book's Indian Philosophy, Volume 2. And last one, C.D. Sharma's book, A Critical Survey of Indian Philosophy. If we consult these books, then the unit, the concept of Sadvada will be very comprehensive. Thank you.